I'm a 90s kid, so I grew up on these movies, and it's so great to see you back for Game Changers.
Cool.
But I guess first question is just, did anyone have any hesitations about returning? Were you nervous about anything, or did you just all jump at the chance to be back on the Ducks?
I jumped. I jumped.
Yeah.
I felt super lucky and humbled that they asked me to come back, and I was happy to do it. I mean, these movies changed my life. I'm forever grateful to them. I will always come back and do whatever they ask. And it was a real pleasure to meet the new kids.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like you guys felt the same, right? Like you guys were stoked to, Matt, you were stoked.
I mean, to be able to like serve the team that changed my life. Yeah. It's kind of like when you see athletes, I'm a huge White Sox fan, and you watch like the way like old players come in spring training and like they're a part of the team and
Yeah.
like this thing literally, like, we can't, I mean, a few minutes does not encapsulate the amount of perspective and gratitude it is to on an individual basis to be able to come back and sit with the kids and have lunch with them and talk as an adult with the people who change your life. I mean,
And I was just excited to have a beer with these guys and be like, dude, don't you think it was funny? I bet behind the camera they were laughing their asses off at us as little kids, just like falling over all the time and cracking up when, you know, we were taking something so seriously. It was a real joy to experience these movies as an adult with each other at some of the recent screenings that we've gotten to go to. I was so eager to see them now and see who they become as people, but then go, oh, you guys are exactly the same. This is awesome. I know you guys. You know, and I didn't know what the script was going to be. I didn't know if we were just going to show up in one scene and have one line. It was all a mystery. It was just like, sign us up. What are we going to do? I hope we're going to wear skates. Like, I hope this is going to be something like what we kind of did, but whatever it is, it'll be great. And then I feel like what we got with this episode was icing on the cake. I mean, Steve Brill got to direct it. It was so fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, Steve
That
Brill
was
was
great. That
yeah.
scene of you all at the bar is like, oh, they're all grown up and drinking and get to drink with Coach Bombay.
I know, right? Too bad it was quarantine and we all couldn't really go out for a drink together at a bar.
Oh.
Absolutely no hesitation. Like, if they ask again, I'd be right there.
I had no hesitation. It was exciting. It was one of those things where when the call first came and they sort of like, you know, checked schedules, and I hung up and I was like, that's not going to happen. And sure enough, you know, however many weeks later, it was happening. So no, I would say no hesitation.
How about you, Garrett?
Yeah, no, I was really excited to be a part of it. You know, also because we were in the middle of a pandemic. So just this idea of getting out of my house and being given this opportunity to get back on set again and be in a production and be in front of a camera just seemed like the most exciting thing I could have possibly thought of.
And now
it really delivered. It really was just so much fun coming out to Vancouver.
Now, did you guys have to like train on the ice again? Did the body doubles come out? I mean, Justin looked really solid in his scene, but I'm curious if that was the case for everyone.
Yeah, luckily they didn't ask too much of us as far as the skating goes. So what they needed from us, we were able to deliver. But it was a lot of fun getting back on the ice and skating again.
Yeah, it was a riot. And I love that sentence, Garrett. I got to remember that one. What they needed from us, we were able to deliver. I think that's exactly what it was. It was perfect.
And the figure skating scene in the episode is actually Patrick Chan, who's a Canadian gold medalist for Canada. And so he did that scene.
Okay.
So yeah, but yeah, it was fun. Like basically like these two guys just like getting right back on their bikes. And then whenever we were in between takes and all the kids were out there, we were skating around, shooting pucks around with them too.
You know, looking back at the first films, I mean, they were huge. I was a kid, I watched them all. And for you, just could you feel it at the time, just how big it was? What was it like, you know, just being a child star at that time in the 90s from these films?
You remember what you used to say, Eldon? A star is a ball of gas. I always remember that because to us, we didn't feel like stars. We were just like kids spending all day in hockey breezers and sweating and knocking into each other and playing. And then we'd sometimes get, you know, a little dressed up and not be able to party at those big fancy parties. But yeah, I don't know. We just, we're busy on a movie set, kind of just being a group of kids in a small high school. It's like we kind of went through puberty together, then we took a break, and now we can have a text chain together.
I don't know that I really had a concept of it back then. You know, I was so like, you know, when you're, you know, that age, right? You know, it's like what's on my mind is like, you know, getting a girlfriend, or like, you know, a few years later, like getting my driver's license, or, you know, I played baseball growing up. So like a lot of my life was consumed by that. And I don't think till I got older that I really had like perspective on it all. And,
I remember
really
grabbing a
realized how
coffee.
lucky I was.
Do you remember, Eldon, when you and I had a coffee? I think him and I we had ran into each other at an audition or something, and we went to a Starbucks, and we were chatting about the idea of like what an impact this was on our lives, and how you don't know it at the time, but like once you start thinking about the seminal experiences that we got the privilege to share, like meeting Wayne Gretzky, you know, like that alone, literally playing hockey in front of like in a professional stadium before the team even played there.
Filled with 17,000 people yelling your name when they announce it over the loudspeaker.
Meeting
or
Kareem
just like how
Abdul-Jabbar.
cool. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's not so you don't like how much our lives had been changed by this experience. And of course you don't get it, because how could you as your kid, right?
Yeah.
Like Ellen said. So to be able to come back and do this experience and then go and like
celebrate it with like gratitude and appreciation of all that it was for people, because it kind of was for us too. So we get to share it too.
Yeah, I mean, back then I don't think I really grasped how big the movies were. You know, for me, I was fortunate enough to work quite a bit as a child. And so when I got the role, it was like, cool, just another movie, and kind of kept it moving. And it was a lot of fun being on set. It was a lot of fun making the movie because there were so many kids, and it really was just this like big slumber party. But it wasn't really until many years later that I grasped how important it was to an entire generation. And to be in a movie that has stood the test of time is a real honor.
Yeah, that's very true. Like it wasn't actually until that Anaheim Ducks silver anniversary that I realized how much the movies have affected people, and how big the fans are to the movies. And for me, like just being out of it for so long, I was just like, oh, that's just something I did when I was 13 and 14, 12 and 14. But now, like, it's something that I'm very proud of.
Yeah, I would agree. It definitely, there's a lot of pride involved, especially with the excitement for this show to come out. There's a lot of pride involved in the original seed of that. And as far as when we were younger, I went to the same high school, and then I went off to college, and it wasn't like Garrett was saying. It wasn't as much in my face as I think people might think it was. It was seems more now than then.